Well, how good is it to see the big Trevors finally back in the channel? G'day folks, I'm Ando from Boss Outdoor with this week's fishing report. Well, how good is it to see the trevally back in the channel? Everyone loves a Trevor, including Chris, our loyal customer, who's been catching a lot of big fish just of late, just using bait straight off the wharf out the front of Boss Outdoor. It's a pretty simple rig. It's just a running sinker straight to the hook, and he's just fishing monofilament line straight through, casting up current, bouncing the bait back down the channel and getting results. So well done to Chris. Plenty of flathead around too. Up in the top lake, it's fishing really well. Heaps of flatties around, and I also hear there are a few rat kingfish starting to push into the lake too, which would be some fun for those anglers chasing them on light tackle. Also a few jewfish being caught up there. My good mate Harry Haynes, he's got some nice fish just of late, just bouncing soft plastics around, fishing for flathead and picking up a few mulloways bycatch. So well done to Harry. So the exciting news for the estuary at the moment is the whiting are pushing in, and we're seeing good numbers of whiting starting to mill around the sand flats, which is fantastic for those guys chasing them on surface lures, or if you're just soaking a nipper on the sand flats. You're going to find brim and flatties on those sand flats with them, particularly if you're just fishing baits. But it's a good time of year to be putting some shallow crankbaits out around all the oyster leases behind me, and down near the front towards Mitchie's. Those oyster leases out there will hold brim, whiting and flatties as well. So while the estuary fishing's good, it's all about kingfish. Kingfish, kingfish, kingfish. They are here and they are big, and it's so exciting because it doesn't happen very often. But finally, we've seen some massive kingfish milling around all the headlands up and down the coast, particularly Long Point, Merimbula. Now, if you haven't had a crack at these fish, by all means, you need to. They fight so hard. They are one of the hardest fighting fish in the ocean, fact. And once you've tangled with one over 15 kilo, you will know and understand exactly why I am telling you right now that they are the hardest fish to fight. So if you want to catch one of these kingfish, a lot of anglers have been catching them on live bait. So you'll probably want to get out nice and early and get yourself some live bait, just as Les did. Les caught a massive fish just of late. It was just a tad under 18 kilo, which is an absolute horse of a thing. And how Les did this, he had a live bait on a 100-pound trace, about 1 metre long, with a 9.0 mustard hook, so the mustard hoodlum to be specific. He had a fairly hefty swivel on there, Halco swivel, stainless steel ball bearing, because you don't want to give these kingfish 1 inch to do on the reef. You need strong terminals, strong hooks, strong line. And all he did was run a barrel sinker down on top of that swivel with a bead for protection, and he basically lowered that live bait down into the school fish. Now he sounded up that school fish, and once that live bait hit the zone, Les came up tight and one very happy man. So if you want to know how to tie these rigs, or if you have any questions on what hook size, leader size, lengths, or anything like that, come into Boss Outdoors so the team can hook you up, because this is an exciting time of year and it's an opportunity not to be missed. So Les isn't the only guy catching fish. Alex Barker's been out getting a few with his mates and catching some good fish, and so is my good mate Bruce Curry. Now Bruce is a legend. He come in the shop there a few months back looking for a soft plastics rig to catch snapper, and now he's catching big kingies. So good on you, Bruce. I bloody love it, mate. Well done. So if kingfish are too hard for you to wind in, guys, you're always going to be able to catch mowong and snapper this time of year on all the local reefs in that 30 to 40 metre zone, as we've spoken about many times before. Find yourself a nice patch off Long Point, down off Haycock, down off Leonard's, and basically just drop a paternoster rig down with some pilchard or squid bait or a soft plastic or a jig, and you will find yourself a tasty feed of reefies. You get out on the sand looking for those flathead. You don't have to go so deep anymore. They've actually pushed in a little bit shallower, so they're now in around that 30 to 25 metres of water. Now they're not big fish, but they're plentiful, and you'll have no problem getting your bag if you're after a tasty feed of flatties this weekend. So the beach fishing's pretty good too. If you're after salmon and tailor, plenty of salmon around still. They're not jumbo salmon like the salmon we see in winter, but if you're going to eat a salmon, this is probably the size you want to target. And the tailor are big. northern end of Estuary, some good fish coming from there, and same down at Pambula, just in front of the surf club. So I'm tipping the tailor are moving in and out of the estuary system down there at Pambula River, and they're pushing around onto the beach in the afternoon for a feed. And if you're after tailor, that would be the spot to try. There are also a few bronze whalers around, some good fish too. So if you're one of those shark chasing guys that want to catch bronzies off the beach, good time of year to be doing it. There's some big fish around, so make sure you got the tackle that's appropriate to take them down. Otherwise you're just going to get busted off, you're going to lose your line. But hey, come into Boss Outdoor and we'll spool you up again. Rock fishing, still pretty good. There's drummer around, believe it or not. People are still catching drummer. Not big, but they're there. But if I'm fishing the rocks, I'm putting a live bait out under a float for one of those kings. So find yourself a nice safe platform and deploy a live bait under a float. And you just never know. Tangling with a king off the rocks, that's the ultimate dream. Land-based kingfish, bring it on. For those chasing squid, plenty of squid around too. So I'd be really early in the morning, almost before sunup to get those squid. They are a little bit flighty because those kingfish are in there hunting them. So maybe sacrifice one of those squid, put a hook in its back and send it out under a float, maybe for one of those kingfish. And if you're heading to the high country this weekend, odds on you're going to tangle with some nice brown trout. The water levels are good, the fish are pushing in, so another option if you're not keen to taste the salt water this weekend. Speaking of salt water, we've got a blue water report. We're going to cross the Leaf now, and he's got some goss on some amazing dolphin fish.
Yeah, cheers, Buddha. Well, if you don't mind travelling for a dolphin fish, head up to JB, get yourself a couple of liveys and go and trawl off that fad. Just ticking baits around there. Landed some amazing fish over this last week. Heaps of dolphin fish up over that metre mark, so get amongst that action. How about that record yellowfin? 443 pounds off Baja, Mexico. What a great fish that is. Speaking of yellowfin though, locally, we've still got plenty of fish around. What a great time of year it is. Like normally at this time of year, us game fishing and twiddling our thumbs, tying up rigs, getting ready for marlin season. At the moment, there's yellowfin everywhere. So we've had that run in close lately. Probably more sort of north of Narooma at the moment, out on that shelf. But yeah, still heaps of good fish getting caught. Well worth getting out there. So it looks like the weather's about 10 to 15 knots over the weekend from the north. So it should be pretty nice mornings, you'd imagine. And then picking up in that nor'easter in the afternoons. It's going to get to about 30 degrees, so some pretty warm days. Wouldn't it be amazing if we were eating yellowfin for Christmas this year? I'd be happy about that. Speaking of Christmas dinner, the prawns running, Buddha?
Yes, they are. Plenty of prawns running right here in Merimbula. So grab a torch, grab a net and a sense of adventure and get yourself a tasty feed of prawns, especially coming up to Christmas. Let's head in store and check out this week's fishing report deal. Okay, come into the store and purchase 2 packets of soft plastics of your choice. Mention that you watched the fishing report and we'll shout you a tube of Gulp Gel rub-on scent. So that's it for this week's fishing report. If there's anything else you need to know about bait, lures, or where those kingfish are, come into Boss Outdoor so we can hook you up.